Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for International Accelerator's Investor Pitch. For a brief little background on International Accelerator, we are a 12-month on-site acceleration program based out of Austin, Texas, where we focus exclusively on partnering with foreign-born founders to help them launch their businesses in the United States and scale. While our portfolio companies are here with us, we offer a variety of support and services, starting with immigration support, running through housing and office space, accounting and tax services, marketing consulting, and ultimately fundraising at the Series A fundraising round. For today's agenda, you'll be hearing from 3 of our portfolio companies who will each have total time of 20 minutes, 15 minutes for pitching, and then 5 minutes for Q&A with the audience. If you do have any questions for each of the portfolio presenters, feel free to drop those in the chat or use the Q&A feature, and I'll be monitoring to ask those questions of the founders. Our first presenter today is Ksenia with Powertechs. Powertechs helps assess skills, recruit, train, upskill, and repurpose workers in the energy and manufacturing industries. Alrighty, Ksenia, welcome. I'm going to stop sharing and give you the controls.
Hi everyone, I will just share my screen.
And we've got it.
Great. So hello everyone. My name is Ksenia. I have probably the most unpronounceable name here. And I'm the CEO and founder of Powertechs. And I'm happy to tell you a bit more about what we do. So just for short prehistory, we are a digital platform that trains and assesses skills to help repurpose workers from traditional energy sectors like coal, steam, etc., to alternative energy industries like nuclear or solar, for example. Right now, we are headquartered in Austin, Texas, but we've been extensively working in the state of Alabama, and we started working with Alabama Power, for example, which is a part of the Southern Company, one of the biggest energy providers in the US. We've also partnered with several community colleges, including Jefferson State College, for example, Lawson State, and so on. And we've recently joined the International Accelerator, so now we are one of the portfolio companies, and the International Accelerator helps us to scale to the US market. And the purpose for our existence is that the world is changing. Actually, probably there are not a lot of big fans of this changing because people are not politically happy, or they have energy and the economy relies on energy and so on. But whatever the reasons of these changes, we cannot literally ignore the fact that the world is changing. We cannot escape out of it. And as you all know, for example, in the US, we'll have to shut down coal energy and steam energy plants by 2030. And that's the general trend all across the country. And it literally means that more than 80,000 coal miners and coal energy workers, they will be, and they are already at the risk of becoming jobless. People are scared their jobs are being taken away, and they don't believe that their skills, the skills they have, are transferable to new positions. So our objective, our main goal is to enable these people to get new jobs. And we are trying to convert them into new positions in the clean energy space. I will explain a bit later exactly how we do that, but the main thing that we came up with an innovative approach of doing two things. So first one, we identify the existing transferable skills, and second, we repurpose this workforce to new roles using the AI-based adaptive assessments and virtual training environments, and we call them virtual training cockpits. So this is a four-step process. Step number one, we compare current and future roles. Step number two, we identify this existing transferable skills people have. And then we generate virtual cockpits and learning journeys to retrain people to new roles. How does it look like? Yeah, as you can see on the screen, first we introduce workers from steam and coal to virtual cockpits. We call them like this compared to the aircraft industry. And why? The main idea is to introduce them to the virtual environment via something they got used to. So we introduce them to the virtual cockpit of a steam plant, for example, for them to like try something they were familiar with, meaning that as a step number two, we test their current skills while they are solving practical challenges on their screens in the environment of the steam plant they got used to. And once they did it, we introduced them to a new environment. So that's a nuclear plant, for example. And that's how we start training them. So they know already how the steam plant works, and they got used already to the virtual simulation, to the virtual cockpit. So we start training them in the new environment of a nuclear plant based on the skills they have in the steam plant environment. And even if something goes wrong and it's exploding, for example, as you can see on your screen right now, it's not really important. It doesn't matter. It's still safe. And workers have a certain number of drills to master their skills. So they can always come back to the beginning. They can always start over and just to reload the program in order to master the skill they probably failed in the beginning. And yeah, so that's how the training process works. So they basically learn by doing, and that's also one of the outcome of the simulations. As for the competitive analysis, we compete with a bench of HR tech tools, and they use simulations, but they don't usually scale it to the energy industry, and we do. We also compete and partner with onboarding programs of companies and community colleges educational programs that don't usually use simulations in general, but we do. And so that we take best practices out of all these groups of our competitors in order to create the tech solution for energy and manufacturing companies in order to help them repurpose their workforce to renewables and to alternative sectors of the energy industry. Coming back to figures, skilled labor shortage costs a single utility company at least $10 million a year. And if you look just at solar and wind industry, for example, this is a huge market of $7 billion. If we add here electrification, hydrogen, EV, and other clean energy roles, this is already a massive market opportunity. And our solution is industry agnostic, but we are focused on this specific market because the lack of skilled workers is already a bottleneck for renewable infrastructure deployment. And this problem is only going to get worse. We are the perfect team to solve it because we have a very complementary skill set ourselves. We cover marketing, product, tech, business in other parts needed to build this successful, scalable startup. And as for our traction, we started working on this idea in September last year, and we got accepted to Techstars. And just in 3 months, we validated the hypothesis, the idea, and built an MVP with first users. So in order to make our platform accessible, we are building it in 3 main editions. We have Powertechs Lite for self-learners, and actually everyone who wants to become a power technician or who wants to be converted from one industry to another one, they can log in and assess their skill set and get training to be upskilled to new industries. We have Powertechs Pro to collaborate with companies and city administrations, and we have also Powertech College Edition to partner with universities and colleges. So as for our business model, we use a B2B SaaS, and we are not raising right now, but we plan to start doing it this fall. So here are my contacts, and if you are interested in, please come and join us. And most importantly, we are not looking only for investment, but for involvement. And if you have connections in renewables and in all these industries, and you want to assess, skill, upskill, or reskill your workforce, again, come and join us. We'll be more than happy to have this kind of discussions. Thank you so much. I'm ready to answer your questions, and yeah, so I'm ready to answer your question then.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We do have some questions from the audience here. So first one I'm going to choose. What is the cost of one simulation assessment / tutorial?
Yeah, thank you for your question. It really depends on the level of over technical level. So as for the basic simulations, that's something like, well, as for the time, it's from 2 to 3 weeks. And it doesn't cost much because we use some open source platform and existing simulations to combine. And some more customized solutions, they cost around, well, they're more expensive, and they cost like from 20K to 40K, which is already like some solid technical creation for specific needs. And as for the time, it's from 3 months to 6 months approximately.
Fantastic. And another question, is there a plan to move the assessment models into an augmented reality / virtual reality platform?
Yeah, we have this VR and augmented reality platforms somewhere on our radars. And yeah, so the short answer is yes. It also depends on the timing and pricing. And it will be definitely useful to do it for like technical assessments requiring some manual jobs and so.
Fantastic. Definitely kind of depends on who the initial customers are there for sure. And a relevant question here from Knobl. Who are your primary sponsors on the pilot projects?
We got investment from Techstars, and we are negotiating with Alabama Power and other energy companies for the first pilot right now.
Fantastic. Yeah, you mentioned spending that time in Alabama.
Yep.
And which type of customers are you targeting for your initial pilot programs? Was this specifically renewable energy, or casting a little bit wider of a blanket there?
Well, our main focus so far is on energy companies that own these coal and steam plants, which are going to be shut down by 2030. And their main objective is to repurpose their workforce to alternative energy sectors like nuclear or solar, for example.
Fantastic. And then on the business model side, are you seeing most of your customers slash revenues coming from the B2B customers that are trying to recruit talent and assess their existing talent pool through the platform, or individuals who are using the platform potentially as a route of sourcing employment?
Mm-hmm. Well, our main business model will be related to companies, meaning that we'll charge companies per user per month. And even if we are kind of a marketplace, meaning that we are sort of B2B to C, our main customer that pay will be companies and community colleges / universities.
Fantastic. And then I think you kind of touched on this, working with the coal and nuclear power plants, but outside of renewable energy, are you going to have any focus on more traditional, like steam generated power? Natural gas generated power has been very big lately with the electrification efforts in the US.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, our solution is industry agnostic, and we are focused on renewables so far just because the lack of skilled workers is already a bottleneck for the infrastructure deployment. But yeah, inevitably, we also deal with other energy sectors and also cover manufacturing companies.
And a comment here from Pinal. Are you aware sponsors are offering training with no fees or tuition? Just a thought.
Probably I didn't really get the question. Just please correct me if I'm wrong. What we can do here, we can match the existing training programs and internships, and so according to the specific gaps of the workers. And as for the fee, it can be covered by companies or by community colleges. And yeah, so generally we are aware that there are these training programs offered by companies and community colleges for no fee, but we can make them work better and match them to the specific gaps in order to make them more efficient and to like increase all these engagement rates, course completion rates, and so on. So our main focus so far is on skills assessment. We can also provide training based on the same simulations, but we are focused on this step number 0, let's say, in order to really identify the existing skills and to also match existing trainings to the specific gaps.
Fantastic. And Powertechs, certainly for a sponsor or a community college that's offering those training programs, Powertechs would serve as an avenue for them to use as a tool to augment those training programs, as well as kind of document the skills assessment and create that kind of talent or skills library.
Exactly. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, we're down to our last minute here before the next presenter comes on. So Ksenia, thank you so much for your time today, and great job.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye.
All right. Please be patient with me while I am moving folks around. But once again, that was Ksenia. Today, folks, we're actually going to invite Mario and Mauricio Hernandez with Knobl to just start presenting now. So give us just a minute to get them onto the call. And then we will just cut things short when we hit 2:40. But to introduce Knobl, Knobl is integrating the power of social networks, crowdfunding, third-party apps, and wearable tech under one philanthropic roof. All right, welcome, Mauricio. Let me stop sharing here, and I will give you the controls.
Okay, Jack, thank you.
But welcome, and I already gave you your introduction and a brief description of Knobl here, so you can go ahead and share your screen and kick things off.
Okay, I'll do just that. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Got it, looks great.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Knobl. I am very thankful to the International Accelerator for hosting this event. My name is Mauricio Hernandez, and I am the co-founder of Knobl, along with my brother Mario Hernandez, who should be able to jump on in any moment now. We're very thankful to have you here. We actually just launched on the App Store not but a few days ago. So we invite you after the presentation to jump onto the Apple App Store and download the app. We're sure you'll enjoy it quite a lot. We'll have a QR code at the end of the presentation as well to make it a little easier for you to download the application.
Well, thank you, Mauricio, for introducing me. We're extremely excited to go over the Knobl. What is Knobl all about? First of all, let's go over the current social networking landscape. Whenever you think photo sharing, you go to Instagram. When you think business connections, you go to LinkedIn. Personal connections, you probably think of Facebook. However, whenever I mention the words change maker, philanthropy, donations, it seems, or even corporate social responsibility, it seems like people don't know where to go exactly. Some go to Twitter, some might go to LinkedIn, but this is a problem that they have found, and one that we are fulfilling with a solution called Knobl. So it's a one-stop shop for absolutely everything that has to deal with corporate social responsibility, change making, combating climate change, finding all these different solutions or one type of place for everybody to get along and find this positivity in this one network. This is something that we're extremely happy about because we're providing in a new and fresh social networking aesthetic and actually making innovative technology happen at the same time.
As Mario mentioned, we've found that philanthropy kind of has a scattered and ambiguous feel on current legacy networks. And our solution to this problem is bringing a social media that is the home for philanthropy. We're integrating the power of social networks, as Mario just mentioned. And on top of that, and more importantly, we are adding a campaign creation tool that really hasn't been out there before. This campaign creation tool infuses themes from crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, third-party applications like Spotify and gaming, but also things like Tesla and Apple Health. How does it work really? Our campaigns allow users to crowdfund activities and data that is tracked as opposed to a monetary objective. If I wanted to create a campaign, for example, that said, I want my community to drive 1,000 miles in Teslas, I would thus create a campaign, invite my friends and family, and ask them to either add to the campaign by driving their Teslas themselves, pledging a monetary amount to my campaign, or doing both. Currently, our API partnerships at launch stand with Spotify, Tesla, Apple Health, Fortnite. This allows a plethora of campaign possibilities for our users. Anything from tracking matches that are played on Fortnite, kills that you get on Fortnite, steps taken, meters swam, fuel savings that you obtain by driving your Tesla, and music listened to on Spotify. Our vision really stands at the fact that we believe that our everyday actions from the moment we wake to the moment that we go to sleep can be tracked and be made into an opportunity for philanthropy and for social impact.
This brings a very unique opportunity. And there's an incredible Bloomberg article touching upon this because of the outcome of threads, and realizing that there wasn't any value being provided in the new social network. And their question was, where is social networking going? Is it about just screen time, etc.? And to Mauricio's point, it's exactly a hybrid where we want an online to offline experience. And that is the value that we're providing with Knobl. Something completely new where we want you to be outside using these different applications that are being tracked, and it's being all fed into your online experience. So who is Knobl for? Well, the individuals are the soul of Knobl. They might not have the monetary purchasing power to make large donations, but they are the ones who are out there every day using these apps. So they'll be the ones taking steps, going for the swim, playing Fortnite games, listening to the music, etc., and completing these campaigns. So they're the heroes within Knobl for actually just doing what they love. And nevertheless, they can donate whatever monetary power they might have, whether it's $1 to $100, etc. But they're actively engaged, and they're going to want to be sharing these activities on the Knobl platform. The nonprofits have a crucial problem that we are solving, and it's all about storytelling. They're currently and constantly looking for ways to provide storytelling and captivate users so that they can obtain donations. You see that within LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., but their message is lost because, again, the networks aren't prioritizing these values, and it's not made for this. Businesses have the unique opportunity of seeing corporate social responsibility grow yearly, and with the generations of Gen Z becoming a major force, they're realizing that their consumers want to know exactly business principles, values, their use of resources, and exactly how they're giving back to the community. And so this presents a unique opportunity for businesses to not only create campaigns, but sponsor other individuals as well. And it's shifting the corporate social responsibility officer's budget to the marketing budget, where all of a sudden that monetary check that they send over to a foundation can now become an engagement opportunity for them to actually involve the community. And finally, one of the things that we're most excited about on Knobl is the fact that we are creating this evolution from what we call the influencers that you well know on Instagram, YouTube, etc., now are going to become the change makers. So when you hear the word change makers, you're going to think of Knobl, and we're going to be monetizing them. So we're going to be part of the creator economy and basically monetizing these individuals for actually being philanthropic. And this is going to be a large success that we are very excited about.
How does our donation platform work on Knobl? We have taken that to heart, and at the very essence of Knobl is obviously the ability to donate. And so in order to do that, we have partnered with a Canadian firm called Benevity. I encourage you to do some research on them. But they will be responsible for handling all transactions that go towards the nonprofits themselves. They give us access to more than 2 million nonprofits here in the US, everything from the big names in nonprofits like UNICEF, like St. Jude's, like the WWF, and at the same time, everything to the smaller, more grassroots nonprofits that you can find locally in your communities. And this will give us the opportunity to provide our users a gamut of options for which to create campaigns from. Just yesterday, a family friend of ours wrote to me saying that she was wondering if she was part of Knobl. She has a nonprofit in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, very small, works in mental health. And I did a quick search on Benevity, and they are there. So they can use Knobl to create campaigns and to further their voice in their community, even though they're a very small nonprofit. So everything from bigger nonprofits to smaller ones are accessible in Knobl. We're very proud of that.
The business model is simple and straightforward. We obtain 5% of a commission on successful campaign completions. As a quick example, that means that if the campaign we collect $100, well, 5 of those dollars will go to Knobl for the use of the platform. And secondly, advertising revenue, which will be activated in 2024, will become the main source of revenue for the enterprise.
Our go-to-market strategy will be a very aggressive one, knowing full well that we are entering the social media space and the ad revenue space. We know that we have to attack hard, and we are developing a go-to-market strategy here in the International Accelerator that we think will propel us forward. Importantly, that leads with making sure that we segment the millennials and Gen Z, who will be our bread and butter, who will power the network, and infuse it with content, given their current standing in what they believe and what is important to them, including social impact and corporate social responsibility, etc. Our target market will move forward once we segment the millennials and Gen Z to nonprofit organizations, brands, individuals, and influencers, making sure that we give them that value proposition of a unique combination of their social engagement and at the same time a philanthropic impact that will resonate with their users, resonate with their customers and clients of their businesses. As far as user acquisition is concerned, we're working on organic growth through social media and influencer partnerships. We will be doing some paid advertising on legacy networks currently. And of course, strategic partnerships with high profile brands. Being here in the IA, we are working closely and trying to obtain partnerships with folks at South by Southwest, Circuit of the Americas for Formula One, and quite a few other events like Austin City Limits. So we're leveraging the fact that we're in this high profile city like Austin to make sure that we get some user acquisition going through the door at the get-go. Our revenue model, Mario just went through 5% commission from campaigns, and our milestones currently, well, we just launched on the App Store. And we're ready to move forward on that. And we'll talk about a little bit more about what we need for this regarding user acquisition once we get into the capital ask.
We're extremely proud to say that we're brothers, co-founders, and have been so for over a decade now. Like startups are plenty, and we know that fully well, but the founding team is key to make anything executable and make these ambitions into reality. So we know how tough it is to be within the startup sphere and grow a company and make it a success. So fortunately, we've done that in the past with our first company, which was IoT and enterprise mobility platform that we sold in Latin America. And then we created a water treatment company in the Dominican Republic, which we also sold for 5x last year. And now we are onto our most ambitious venture yet. So we're very, very fortunate about that and happy to be tackling this again together.
To Mario's point regarding the team. Oh, go ahead.
It's exactly that. Again, you have to be surrounded around incredible team members. People who can advise you through these turbulent waters and provide the excellent advice that we need to hear from. And so we can count on that with the team of the IA. Naturally, people like Angelo who provides us excellent business advice, legal waters, especially in the space that we're in with Brent Britton. And we count with the crucial input from Park Benjamin and Mohammed Rahman in actually making this a success and launching it into the market successfully.
Our capital ask stands at $1 million through SAFE agreements. These use of funds will be divided importantly, as we just talked about, and massively into marketing. Our GTM strategy will require an aggressive push to acquire an initial user base that will propel us forward. And the rest will be included into development, not just the quality of life improvements on the app that is currently available. We consider it to be in beta, so there's a lot of fixing that we want to do, a lot of updating that we want to do. And then more importantly, we'll put some of those funds into Android development. As currently it's only available for iPhone, but we know that there is a much larger market that we can attack once we develop it for Android. Our biggest weakness right now that we know is that we stand without a CTO within the company. My brother and myself are non-tech founders. And so part of the capital ask will go into looking to a fractional CTO hiring. Currently, we are outsourcing our development with a tech company based out of Florida called 12 Skies Tech. But we do see it as an immediate necessity to search for the CTO within the company.
Well, we couldn't be more excited again. The fact that Knobl is already out, people are using it, people are already completing campaigns. This is all happening as we speak, as we're having this presentation. I see people tracking more steps, and we hope that you can go do the same as soon as we're done. Scan the QR code. It's free to use, free to participate, and we just count on your support as well. So we hope that you join us in this journey. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. And I would encourage everybody to scan the QR code and download the app so you can start your own campaign. A couple questions from the audience here. What future application APIs are on your roadmap? Airbnb maybe, or VRBO, also headquartered here in Austin. I could see them having the option for hosts to donate some portion of their revenues to philanthropic campaigns.
That is incredibly spot on, and whoever asked that question, well, we'd like to invite you over to the office. But yes, Airbnb, the entire rental market is one that is growing and is nonstop. And so we foresee a lot of synergies between ourselves as well. Furthermore, we want to jump into the streaming world. And so applications like Netflix, Apple TV, etc., is something that we also foresee. And so those are two major, let's say, APIs that require some further research. However, we're very much keen to get them on the network as quickly as possible.
Fantastic. And we also had a question about the markets that you're targeting, obviously focused on North America right now, but you had on one of your slides developing the Android application. Obviously, that would open up a lot of the rest of the markets globally, but can you talk about market expansion strategy a little bit?
Yes, absolutely, Jack. We do know that the social media users currently stand at around 4 billion around the world. And from research that we've done, around 15% of those people use social media exclusively for philanthropy. We do seek to expand to the rest of the world. Currently with Benevity, we have access to their database here in the US. With further investment and user growth, we can expand that database within Benevity to include nonprofits that are all over the world, including Europe, Asia, and Latin America.
And that is just to jump on that as well. It goes along with the previous question as to what apps we're going to be integrating. Understanding fully well that we also want to be integrating sports into the Knobl app. That's going to be already moving us forward. We're in conversations with clubs like Valencia Football Club in Spain, which opens up the doors to, for example, La Liga, and all these different types of sporting venues. So there's different applications and different markets that love to use these different apps. So it's something that we're very much aware of and excited about, again, making Knobl an incredibly global application.
Fantastic. And then another question kind of going back to, I guess, the beginning of Knobl. Where exactly did this idea stem from?
That's an interesting question. My brother and I are both from Venezuela originally. And after studying in the States, we always catered to go back to Venezuela and provide some kind of as much help as we could, really. And yet at the same time, finding places that we'd like to donate to here in the States was always a little difficult. And we found it to be mundane and impersonal, to be quite frank. It was just a monthly bill that would come through and there was nothing there. And so about 7 years ago, we thought, hey, you know what, there has to be a way that we can connect more with the nonprofits that we care for. And at the same time, find a way to allow people to be philanthropic without being intrusive. We find that people find it as sometimes uncomfortable to be asked for donations. They find it difficult to, or nonprofits find it difficult to reach their audiences. And so it kind of stemmed from our own experience with nonprofits and finding it difficult to donate to them or connect with them in a more personal manner. And that's kind of where the journey started, really.
Awesome. And kind of following on that comment about the donations being kind of mundane and impersonal, it's just a letter you get in the mail each month. I've seen some charitable organizations where you could support, say, for a dog shelter, an individual dog, but they're sending you, updates on how they're doing or they got adopted. Is there any way for the nonprofits that are sponsoring these campaigns to communicate back to the end users that are actually the individuals that are running the campaigns?
So at the moment, we're on the beta phase. We have quite a lot of ideas that we're going to be executing for expansion. One of those being direct messaging, where we're going to be providing that level of experience for the nonprofits to be able to connect with their different users. That was one of the problems that we always saw, was the fact that within all these different social networks, you didn't know exactly who is donating where, what friends and family support your different causes, nonprofits being able to maintain that connection with their different donors, et cetera. And so that's something that we're going to be propelling forward within Knobl. Right now, again, we have these functionalities active, but there's quite a plethora of functionalities that we're going to be releasing later throughout the year that require some further development, but we're very much aware of it because we just want to make that user experience, both for the nonprofits and for the individual user, to become greater and become a lot easier to use and engaging.
Just to add to that, Jack, yes, and nonprofits can also create their profiles within the application themselves. So just like a regular user, it's free to use. Nonprofits will jump on there. They can interact with their users. They can have users follow them, and they can follow users themselves. So there is currently option for nonprofits to have that outreach, that direct connection with users themselves.
Great. And I think we have time for probably one last question here before we wrap up, but this is a good one. Is there a 501c corporation that allows Knobl as a company to issue tax credits for, say, a for-profit organization that wanted to sponsor a campaign? So maybe you can speak to the corporate structure a little bit there.
So regarding tax receipts, that is something that is not currently available. However, Benevity and our partnership with them is going to allow us to do so. And so that'll be activated, I'd say, probably in the fourth trimester of the year, so that we can actually make that possible for our end users, corporate users, individual users as well. We understand how important that is. And so, yes, that is definitely in the roadmap and will be activated this year. But definitely it's a very valid question and one that we're working hard to turn on right away.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and great job. Exciting stuff.
Thanks, Jack. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jack and the IA, for hosting this event. And any questions, follow Mauricio or myself on LinkedIn, and we'll be happy to go over anything that you might ask.
Yes, and to the audience, everybody, thank you for joining today and watching, and also for participating in the Q&A. We will be sending around a one-pager with a video of the presentations today, as well as contact info and Calendly links for anybody that's interested in setting up meetings with any of the founders that presented today. Once again, thank you so much for joining.